You shrugged, not really sure. I have a couple of favorites. You nodded. That'd probably just be nice. You know, don't know her very well. You've been to a lot of places in town, and there were a couple that stood out from all the rest. There's a Chinese restaurant that me and my family go to all the time. It's my mom's favorites. There's also a tropical themed place that tries to be sort of fancy. That sounds like a treat. I'll leave it to you to pick for us since Cove is going through a phase over there. He huffed at her and turned his face away. Chinese restaurant. Tropical themed. I think I would insist Cove contribute to the decision. It's okay, Cove. Tell us what you want more. He muffles sulkingly, willing to reject his mom, but not you. I like the tropical place more. And that's what I would have gone for too. With 2 votes in favor of one restaurant, it seems it was settled. We can go there.
Thank you.
Z, will you show us the way? You nodded, taking the lead of your little group as Cove and his mom followed behind you. Together, the 3 of you left the neighborhood behind. Wow, I sure love grocery store. The walk was about 15 minutes, and along the way, Kira asked a lot of questions about the area. Cove was quiet most of the time, so you ended up answering her instead. Kira explained that she lived in a large city, and she loved how peaceful and relaxing everything seemed in Sunset Bird. The restaurant was busy as usual, but luckily you were shown right to a small table. Kira lowered herself into the chair, while Cove picked the one diagonal to her, not facing her, or to her side. It was awkward. Let's see, to start, what would you like to drink? I'll get an orange soda. I'm a soda person, what can I say? Which flavor? Oh. I think at that age I would pick orange like him, actually. Sure. Kira placed the order for your drinks, getting a black hot coffee for herself, and it didn't take long before they were brought to the table and set in front of you. You took a sip of your drink as you looked around the restaurant. Your small group checked over the menus, deciding what to order. Last time you came here, the dish you ordered was amazing. You wanted to order something different this time. Kira and Cove didn't need any encouragement for this. They were totally focused on the information in front of them. Soon the meals too were ordered and the menus taken away. You glanced at the table's surface, waiting to figure out what to say. Cove sunk back further into his seat and avoided eye contact. He started to twiddle his thumbs while acting like all this was perfectly normal. His sour feelings today were unignorable. Instead of asking more open questions he'd brush off, Kira had mercy on her son and instead put her focus towards you. Z, what's a few things you're into? There's gotta be something you do for fun, especially now that you're not buried in school assignments. I like to read, I like to watch. Games are fun, I like to play. I hang out with people, I go to the beach, I'm into sports like music, I spend time on arts. I read that last often. I still spend time studying fashion, I'm really good. I guess I watch more than I play. Do I? I guess I do both at the same time. But if I had to pick one over the other, I guess I'd like to watch TVs, movies. It's pretty addicting when you find a good series, isn't it? Oh, I can pick multiple. Games are fun, I like to play. Board games, video games. Oh, I like all of these. But let's go with video games first. I don't know much about them. Maybe you can show me sometime. I do love my card games. I like card games too. Maybe we can all play together sometime. And I do love my board games. That's great. We should all play a game together sometime. And I can't say that. What's the read options? Fiction, comics. I'll say manga. I haven't heard of that style, but I'm sure it's very good. And I hang out with people. Hey, it's nice to have friends and families to spend time with. I go to beach and I sure love to swim, yeah. He must be a strong swimmer since you live so close to the ocean. I find the water a little scary, but I still like to dip my toes sometimes. Walk along the shore. That's a nice way to relax. I hope to be able to spend some time on the shore while I'm here myself. And I'm into sports like... Type in your own sports, play all them, watching them. Basketball, let's go. We drove past the big court when I was in the taxi. It looked very popular. And music. I play the guitar, I play the bass, I play the drums, I play the violin. I'm so surprised to see my own instrument, okay? I play the flute. I have one at home that I practice with. It's going well. I listen to a lot of it. I have an MP3 player at home that my mom helps me put some music on, and I've seen some concerts. Awesome! Yeah, I guess that's... And I spend time on arts, I write things, I like fashion, and you didn't say anything else. I'm happy to learn more about you. There's so much I hadn't heard. Cove leaves the details out. He was trying not to pay attention, but you could tell he was uncomfortable. Hoping it would clear some of the tension in the air, you decided to ask Kira a few questions of your own. Cove hadn't told you much about her, and you're curious to know more about this woman, who was such a big part of his life. What exactly do you do for work? I'm a travel writer for magazines and things. I keep people in the loop on what's worth seeing. It's good work. Wow. What do you like to do? Where do you normally live? Are you in a new relationship? Wow, I feel like those last two are very invasive. What do you like to do? I spend time with my little boy, of course, and traveling. A real shock, huh? Where do you live normally? Nevada. Have you ever been there? You shook your head. It's a beautiful place. Check it out if you can. I can't ask. You couldn't bring yourself to ask another question. It didn't seem to bother her that the conversation dropped off. Cove sipped his soda angrily, slurping up the remaining drink with furrowed brows. He looked ready to run straight out of the restaurant. You weren't sure if coming along and had ended up making the lunch better or worse. You made a silly face at him, you smiled at him, you gave him a sympathetic look. You flicked his straw wrapper at him, you left him alone. I'm trying to think if I would do that. Have I really grown that much since middle school? Because I always felt like middle school me has always been me, you know? But maybe I have changed. You know what, I'm gonna go with the you flicked his jaw wrapper. The wrapping hit Cove on his nose. You had to bite down on your lip to keep from laughing. It took a couple of minutes, but finally you cracked a smile, and that made you feel a little lighter inside. You two seem really cute together. Cove covered his face with his hands and leaned back in his seat.
Seriously?
Oh, Mom, why would you say that? You felt bothered too. You blushed. Thanks, we are cute. You just laughed. I'd probably just laugh. Probably wouldn't think much of it. That was definitely unexpected, and there didn't seem to be any other way you could react. Your meals were delivered shortly after that, and everything was so delicious. Even Cove enjoyed his food.
Okay.
Alright, now that we're all full and content, can you explain please why you've had a bug up your butt all day? Cove's face scrunched at that. Seriously, baby, what did Mom do to make you this mad? I haven't even been around a full day yet. He gripped the edge of the table, refusing to make eye contact. The words he spoke were barely audible over the din of the restaurant. You could have told me. She leaned forward to not miss anything else, eyebrows raised. Told you what? He finally... I get it. She reminds you of Lucamine from Pokemon. That's not good. He finally seemed to find his voice and spoke the thoughts that had been on his mind. That I wasn't going to visit you this year? That you were going to be coming instead? Didn't you invite me? You wanted me here with you. Cove's eyes began to shake and his frustration ebbed. I do want you to be around, but I didn't know it'd be like this. It's not the same and nobody said anything.
I see.
I expressions grew tense. She threaded her fingers together and placed her hands in front of her on the table. We've both been... Oh. Wow, her voice escapes me. We've both been gifted another Clifford surprise. Referring to that as a Clifford surprise almost caused both of you and Cove to crack a smile. You also had no idea his name wasn't just Cliff. Over 5 years, nobody had ever called him Clifford until now. She smoothed her hair out, not letting her stern look. The more things change, the more they stay the same. They let out identical sighs, but smiled weakly at one another afterwards. I can go home, Cove. We can still set up a normal trip to my place before the summer ends. Cove's lips tightly closed together. He seriously pondered the option. I think I do want you to stay. I miss it when you're not there. My heart! She reached across the gap, grabbed his face, and planted a kiss on his cheek. Cove tried to wiggle away. Mom, stop! I'm sorry, sweet young men need to be smoothed by their parents. If I don't, they'll take away my mom license. Kira was completely enthused by Cove's admission, though a tone of seriousness did return to her voice when the conversation continued. Do you want to talk to your dad too? Cove had snapped the word instantly, but reeled his annoyance back in just as quickly. Maybe later, not today. I understand. We can shelve it. Thanks, Mom. Thank you for talking to me, little mister. She grinned affectionately at him before turning her way. And thank you, Z. Huh? What did I do? It's easy to act like a baby with your mom. It's harder to keep that up with your neighbor watching everything. Especially when you really care about what said neighbor thinks of you. Oh, expose him! She winked. Oh, what is that? What does that mean? Mom! She just ruffled his hair with a laugh and moved her hand down to tap the end of his nose. And that was how the issue was resolved, at least between Cove and his mom. When the three of you left the restaurant and Kira had paid the bill, you walked back to your neighborhood slowly. You had eaten so much that time you were beginning to feel sleepy. It didn't help that lunch had happened late and the sun was already beginning to descend from the sky. Oh, look at you. You cleaned up. You got older. But still stayed good. Maybe I should have said handsome earlier. Eventually you reached your street. Someone was there to greet you, your group, upon arrival. Welcome back, family. And Z too. She looks so snobby with the glasses on. Cliff. Dad. The two walked past him into the condo without sparing another word. Despite the summer heat, their shoulders were cold. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. He rubbed the back of his neck with a crooked smile, but his eyes were soft as he looked on after them. He's so much like his mom, don't you think? He gave a vague nod, not sure what he was expecting to do. He nodded back, far more energetically. Okay, have a nice night, Z. You too, Mr. Holden. With that, Cove's dad disappeared to join the others inside. It was your turn to go home now. Summer hadn't started off at all how you imagined it would have, though it turned out to set this tone well. Having Kira in the neighborhood was a new experience for not only you and Cove, but also both your families, and a dull moment was rarely had. Oh, that's how we get to the events now. Oh, we missed a birthday. I wonder who birthdays that would be. Maybe the mom. The family shopping trip had lasted most of the morning, and you still had to unload everything from the truck before you could enjoy the afternoon. You cradled another bag in your arms as you headed towards your house. It was one of the heavier bags from the grocery store, loaded with fresh apples, ripe tomatoes, a bunch of carrots, and even half a watermelon. Ma came out of the front door and paused just ahead of you.
No trouble.
Need any help with that, Z? I can bring it in with the rest of the way, if you want me to. Yes please, it would be helpful. Yes please, it was just too heavy. No, I've got it. You were doing fine. No, I've got it. You could just manage to hold it. You eagerly agreed with a nod of your head. You needed someone else to take it. You didn't say anything. You could finish the job yourself. No problem. So I think if I was a kid, I would have said no. But as a middle schooler, I'd be like, yes, please. It's just too heavy. Ma stepped forward and to take the bag from your arms, and you headed back to the car to grab a new one. This time you got a smaller bag with a loaf of bread, fresh bread, and a couple of packets of dried pasta spirals. You passed Ma again on your way back to the house, and she gave you an encouraging grin and rustled her fingers through your black hair.